Okay, in the last video, we saw an example like this, where we had 4 uh, multiplying x plus y in parentheses. Okay, here we have two factors. One of these factors on the right is a set of parentheses with two terms in it. Okay, and when we have a situation like this, we know that that 4 needs to distribute to both terms inside the parentheses. So we end up with something like 4x plus 4y, right? That's easy and familiar to all of us. One thing that you might not remember doing, or that might be a little less familiar, is that we can also move in the opposite direction, right? When we have a situation where we have two terms in an expression, and both those terms are being multiplied by the same factor, i.e. the x and the y are both being multiplied by 4 here, we're allowed to move that factor outside a set of parentheses, as long as we keep track of the two remaining terms inside the parentheses, right? So 4x plus 4y is the same thing as 4 times x plus y in parentheses. And this might be useful when we're approaching certain types of problems in class. Why don't we just do an example here? So 3x plus another unknown variable y times x is equal to 1. Okay. In this case, our first instinct might be to try to consolidate the 3x and the yx, but it's really difficult to add these two together, right? Because we don't know what y is, so we don't know what 3 plus y is, so it's a little bit tricky. But one thing we can do is we can factor the same way that we factored out the 4 in our previous example, right? So we know that we have two terms. Both of these terms are being multiplied by the unknown value x. So let's go ahead and factor out x outside of a set of parentheses. These two terms are the same thing as saying x times 3 plus y, right? So x times 3 plus y is equal to 1. Now we can isolate x all by itself by dividing both sides by 3 plus y. X is equal to 1 divided by 3 plus y. And we have a solution. We've isolated x. If our problem gave us a value of y, then we could actually calculate a numerical value for x. But at the very least, we know how x depends on y and the other numbers and unknowns that were included in the equation. So I think this will be useful for us in some of the problems that are coming up.